Hey, what is up guys, it is Slikk here. I'm back again with another video, and in this one, I just typed up my DCEU Slate wish list. So this is if I was the CEO of WB, this is the slate that I would use and I would implement for the future of DC films. This is, in my view, within the reason of possibility. That being, I didn't put any wacko films that I would love to see. You know, I can't really, I guess, think of one off the top of my head, but you know, I love all of the DC universe, so there's films I could think of that wouldn't make any money because nobody knows any of the characters. I left those out. All of these films I think are marketable and could be profitable. Moreover, all of the films here that have already been announced, I have not changed. So, Justice League, November 2017, Aquaman, well, okay, I did make up Aquaman because I don't know when that movie's coming out, but I did put that for summer of 2018, and I put The Batman for October of 2018, and recently a WB executive said The Batman is coming out in 2018, so we can get excited for that, probably late 2018. So really, the bulk of my list is going to come from 2019 and onward, so let's go ahead and get right into my slate. So as I mentioned, we have Wonder Woman hitting summer of 2017. Then Justice League comes out November 2017. That's this year. Next year, I'm having Aquaman come out in summer of 2018. I have The Batman hitting in October of 2018. I pushed the flashback to 2019 because the director, they can't seem to get a director for that movie. So that's going to be coming out in the summer of 2019. But before then is Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey hitting in February 2019. Now, we recently learned, or had learned months ago, that there was going to be a Harley Quinn spin-off movie. We learn now that this is a Gotham City Sirens movie, which I think is not as intriguing as The Birds of Prey. And The Birds of Prey in the New 52 actually featured Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, and Batgirl all in them. So it did not have Catwoman, of course, but it did have those three characters. So I think a Harley Quinn and The Birds of Prey movie, although maybe not as profitable or marketable, would be more interesting to me personally. So I would have Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, much like in Rebirth we have Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. I would have Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, and the Birds of Prey being composed primarily of course, the Huntress, Black Canary, and then Batgirl. So I would have that in early 2019. Not too much competition for that film, and I think it could do very well because it has Harley Quinn in the name. That's why I put it there, because people love Harley Quinn. Okay, so after that, we have again The Flash in summer of 2019, and 2019 is a 3-movie year in my dream world. And that is concluded with Justice League Darkseid War, as I've called it, or Apocalypse War, whatever you want to call it, because that's when Darkseid is going to basically, I just burped, sorry, come down to Earth and, wreak havoc on us, basically, because in the 2017 film, it's Darkseid, I imagine, is going to make a cameo, but it's not going to be a big deal, really. I think it's mainly going to be Steppenwolf and Parademons and stuff like that. So 2019 is going to be the real deal in the real slate, and also in my Dream World slate as well. So this is where we move into 2020, and this is where I lose a lot of people, just gonna be honest. But anyway, so February 2020, I have Batgirl, a Batgirl spin-off film, because the way I see it, we've had a Batman movie, obviously, Superman movie, obviously, and we've had a Supergirl movie. I think there's no reason there isn't a Batgirl movie. She's a really popular character, even if people don't know actually who she is. A lot of people don't know that Batgirl is Barbara Gordon, but a lot of people do know Yvonne Craig with the red hair. People recognize that about her. So I think if you make a Batgirl movie, it would actually do rather well financially, particularly in the audience of 14 to 20-year-old girls. I think that it could do well in that market. And maybe a little younger than that in females, but, again, in my dream world, this is like a movie where Batgirl is equally as hardcore as Batman and sort of bashes people's heads in and shit like that. And I think if they were to make a Batgirl movie, it would be her in purple and, not as rough in that sense. But I would definitely make it more like the New 52 Gail Simone run in 2011 onward, because that is my favorite as, a big Batgirl fan. So I think a Batgirl movie is long overdue. If we got a Supergirl movie in the 80s, then I think a Batgirl one is even more overdue, because Batgirl is actually more popular than Supergirl, the way that I see it, and the amount of, little girls that I see wearing, shirts and stuff like that. I see Batgirl more than I do Supergirl. Granted, it's sort of hard to distinguish whether somebody has Supergirl or Superman, because often it's the same logo. But anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so then, later in 2020. So again, early 2020, February, I have a Batgirl solo movie. Then we get into Green Arrow. And keep in mind for that Batgirl solo movie, we've already seen Commissioner Gordon in the Batman 2018 movie. We've also seen him in the Justice League 2017 movie. J.K. Simmons is confirmed to be playing Commissioner Gordon. So that's already built up there. Moreover, in the Batman solo movie, ideally speaking, Barbara Gordon is in that as well as Batgirl. Now, I have a feeling that they're going to make her Oracle in that movie because Bruce Wayne's so old, but that doesn't mean that, you can make an explanation, I think, rather easily as to why she's still Batgirl. And it's better that way. You make their ages even further apart than they are in the comics, and then you eliminate the possibility of bat sex because, you mix in Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, not Paul Dini. He wasn't involved with the Killing Joke. You mix in Bruce Timm and, bat magic happens, as they say. Okay, let's carry on here. Okay, so in the summer of 2020, I have a Green Arrow movie slated, and note the keyword in that is green. Okay, so not Batman Green Arrow, Batman Arrow dude in the CW universe that talks in a deep voice like he's Batman. We're talking about real Green Arrow. He's jovial, he's fun. So yeah, like if they do the real comic book Green Arrow, that would be preferable to whatever is on the CW. I don't really know. But anyway, later in 2020, in August 2020, to align with the release of the film in 2016, so 4 years apart, we're gonna have a Suicide Squad Part 2, directed by David Ayer, and maybe the Batgirl and the Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey movie can be directed by David Ayer as well, to give him something to do in between there, because he did a really great job with Suicide Squad. Maybe you need to go a darker route and give him more creative freedom to do a darker film, sort of like he wanted to do with the original Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. I think that would be absolutely stellar. And so there we go. Suicide Squad Part 2, that wraps up August 2020. Okay, so then into 2021, I have like a big jump here from August 2020 to summer 2021, and that is, I've named it here, The Last Son and Daughter of Krypton, but really what it would be is a Supergirl and Superman team-up movie. And I think that would remedy a lot of the issues that they had with the first Superman film, which only made $600-some million. I happen to be one that any Batman or Superman movie should make $1 billion each rather quickly, but that's my personal belief. And the way that we get that there is by making it a fun team-up movie. I can't say the first appearance of Supergirl, because the 1984 Supergirl movie is actually good. I watched it. The last act is really bad, but overall, like the second act of that film, where it's Kara Zor-El and like school and stuff like that, like it's really good. I enjoyed it. Okay, I won't say the movie's really good, but it's enjoyable. Okay, but side note, so make a Superman and Supergirl team-up film in summer 2021, based off the New 52, preferably where Supergirl comes down to Earth in Siberia, and Superman goes to greet her, and she comes right out of the pod and starts fighting him, as opposed to, what we see in the show. And I think the show goes a little bit of a softy route with that. I would toughen Supergirl up just a little bit. But of course, she's got a heart of gold, so keep that in there as well. And then, in November 2021, we have the Batman Part 2, which at that point, I hope is going to be a straight-up Bat family movie involving, Nightwing and Batgirl as well. And Batgirl will have appeared, once again, in the Batgirl solo movie, and you can have Nightwing or Dick Grayson as Robin make an appearance in the Batgirl solo film and have a third-act team-up between Batgirl and Nightwing, or Dick Grayson as Robin, whichever, they want to go. That would be really cool, and it goes full circle into the film I have slated for 2023, which I'll get to in just a minute. And just for the reference, as I'm getting further and further down the line, I put less and less exactness into, the timeline and the films. Just generally speaking, it gets a little bit more into just general stuff as to what I would like to see. And I didn't think about it as much in terms of the timeline as I did in, the 2019s and that sort of thing. So, let's move now into 2022. It seems like it's so far away. It's just ridiculous to think about it. But 2022 of February, we have the Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan, or, I guess they'll want to do Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz, that sort of stuff in there maybe. I don't know. Make a Green Lanterns movie. Do it right in the DCEU. That's important. And then in summer 2022, we will have a Teen Titans or a Titans movie, whichever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter. I guess there are two different things, right? Titans being a little bit more in the line of what we see in Young Justice, and Teen Titans being well, Teen Titans. I'm not going to compare it to Teen Titans Go because that doesn't count. But, Teen Titans, I would probably do a straight up Teen Titans movie. Okay, so I would probably mix in Starfire and Beast Boy and that sort of thing. I think that would be a really fun, gig as well. Or, again, you can go the Titans route and go more into, as they've made it in Rebirth. I mean, they never really distinguished it that way before, but I guess if we're going off Rebirth here, then you can do Teen Titans with Wally West, or Titans rather, if Wally West was introduced earlier, and you could certainly do that. Then, I think that's it for, the Flash, okay, wait. So, okay, Teen Titans in summer of 2022, and then The Flash Part 2 in December of 2022. So, The Flash, sequel as well. Then, in 2023, we can have Robin Year 1 at some point. Again, the dates get iffy at this point. Then we can have Robin Year 1, and that'll show the story of Dick Grayson in a solo film for the first time, much like we had with Batgirl. And, the only time we've seen Robin and Batgirl is in 1997 and 1966. Both don't count. They're very campy and cheesy. I want the real deal. And then, in November 2023, to conclude off my list, I'm not going to go any further than that. It's already getting a little bit ridiculous, is the death of Batman. So I would definitely kill off Ben Affleck's Batman as opposed to having him just slowly disappear. He's going to have to die at some point because he's so old. Not to bash him, but he's 42 years old. At this point, summer 2023, he's going to be roughly almost 50. He's approaching 50 years old. You cannot play Batman when you're 50 years old. You can write a comic book where Batman is that age, but in real life, it's not safe for the actor to be doing the stunts. It's just not reasonable to expect a 50-year-old guy to be playing Batman, even if you're in great shape like Ben Affleck is. So I would kill Batman in that event. The sticky part with this is that Superman's already died, so you're killing Batman and Superman, and it's not ideal. Okay, maybe Zack Snyder jumped the gun a little bit on murking Superman. But, it is what it is. That's a long ways apart. That's 7 years apart. I think it's more than reasonable that you could do that. And again, I would rather kill him, which we've never seen before. There's no comic arc called The Death of Batman, at least not that I'm aware of. And there certainly is one for Superman in the films and in the comic books, very iconically so. So I would do that. I would kill Batman. It might sound crazy to some people, but, in the third of the trilogy, and actually do it, not chicken out like Chris Nolan did. And it would be a decade apart, more than a decade after the death of, or the fake death of, Batman in the Christopher Nolan films. I would actually kill Batman, and it would be a shocker in the theaters, hopefully. Then again, Zack Snyder probably thought that the death of Superman was going to be a shocker in theaters, and it really wasn't in my experience of seeing the film 6 times in theaters. It was for me, not for, I think, general audiences. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the DCEU slate. The main reason I wanted to make this video, I can't remember if I mentioned it at the beginning or not, is because I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you want to see? Give me your slate, your full slate, all the way to 2025 for all I care, or just go up to 2020. Whatever you want to do, leave your slate, your ideal wish list. And again, do keep it within the realm of what I did, where it's somewhat reasonable that it could happen, I guess a Blue Beetle is somewhat a Blue Beetle film is somewhat reasonable. Hey, then again, Guardians of the Galaxy is a Z-list team. There's 2 movies for that. So, I say keep it within reason, but if you can make a great movie on pretty much any comic book property, then you can, have it become mainstream. But at this point, I would say that there's some DC properties, like a Legion, the Legionnaires. I think that they're a particularly lame group for common fans, right? You want to see a Legionnaire movie? Okay, the Legion of Superheroes, right? I think that in my experience reading the comics, there's too many characters to sort of keep up with, and I don't know if it would translate that well to a film. But hey, if you want to make a Legion movie, put it on there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. My name is Slikk. I'll see you guys in the next one.